think happens in a black hole? Okay, when matter falls into a black hole, I think what happens, it's tore to bits. I mean, it's literally tore down to its fermion material, its quark matter, and it's reversed or flipped inside out. And it is spit out of a white hole in an antiverse. It's basically everything that goes, into a black hole is converted into antimatter and spit out of an anti-white hole or anti-quasar, okay? And anything that falls into an anti-black hole is spit out as light and matter on our side as solid regular matter out of a quasar on this side. Okay? Now I think basically this is how, alright, if you have the Big Bang, okay, you have a matter and antimatter. And when they want to explode, now when you take a quark and you pull a quark apart, basically it'll form a new one because the energy you put into taking it apart is energy that it uses to make a new one. So I think that whenever this explosion, now every action has an equal and opposite reaction. I think that whenever this cosmic explosion happened, it was a cosmic implosion almost at the same time. And it flipped inside out and it created this barrier, which is space-time, or the space-time continuum, or the ether, or I call it, or it's the interstellar medium. Basically, I think it's the top quark material, or fermionic matter. Basically, it separates the the antiverse and the universe, okay, so they can never touch. All right, I think there's still an even amount of antimatter out there. We just can't get to it. It's on the opposite side, basically. Now whenever this explodes and it pulls together, now they have a theory that the universe is going to expand and fall and collapse and expand and fall together. I mean, like it keeps doing that over and over. Now I think what happens is when this exploded, it kind of pulled together and it created this bond, this strong bond, like the strong interaction, holding electrons and neutrons, protons, stuff like that, holding a nucleus together, basically. Holding the neutrons, protons into a nucleus. Okay, so I think that whenever it exploded, it's got an equilibrium like a star. A star wants to explode at the same time it wants to collapse. So it's trying to collapse at the same time it wants to explode, and it's creating these vibrations, which I think are the gravitational waves that we see. Now, if you have an antiverse and a universe, I think that it's going to be pretty much the exact opposite. Now, if we could look straight back into the antiverse, I believe it'll be very bright and hot. Now, we got a dark, cold universe, and there's a bright, hot universe, or antiverse on the other side, the light, the antiverse gets all the light, and we get all the sound, or the cosmic microwave background, And as it's trying to do this, as the universe is expanding and the antiverse is expanding, and these gravitational waves are doing this, both sides will have gravitational waves. Now see, this is kind of like how it is. It's not necessarily like they're beside each other, and this is just another theory. Maybe the antiverse is kind of like electrons. It's got a negative charge, and our positive protonic universe has a positive charge, Maybe there's actually a nucleonic universe somewhere holding these two together, Because how there's a micro and macrocosm of everything. Everything that's on a tremendously big scale has a twin on a microscopic scale. Like a solar system looks like an atom, a neuron looks like the universe, It's just ironic. Now, this is where I think doppelgangers come from. Now, I think that whenever there's some kind of cosmic anomaly, I think basically they're more or less like on top of each other. It's almost like we're overlapped with this antiverse, but we can't quite touch them. What I think is if there's some kind of cosmic anomaly that happens in space, they get misaligned. And that's where doppelgangers come from. Now, you can't interact with them. You can't touch them or anything. All it does is basically it's able to shadow. It's almost like creating a shadow or a twin temporarily, like a ghost or mirror image. Like we can see that side, but we can't quite go to it or touch it or interact with it or anything. All it is kind of, it's like an illusion in a way. It's becoming misaligned, so the other person or other version of you or your doppelganger is going to be revealed, but they're not going to be, aware of each other. You're not going to be realizing, hey, there's my doppelganger, and your doppelganger say, hey, look, there's my doppelganger, and you talk to each other, It's almost like a ghost in a way. Like a recording that the space-time continuum makes, See, I think these basically are held together by this fermionic material or top quark, which is the space-time continuum, you know, through like some sort of quantum entanglement, you know. So, like I was saying, if anything falls into a black hole in our universe, it literally turns into antimatter and spits out of a white hole in an antiverse. And anything that falls into a anti-black hole spits out as out of a quasar as light and matter in our universe. So it's basically a cycle that continues to recycle from us to them and from them to us. And it's almost like yin and yang, literally. What, Jada?
I need this one because that one...
It's dead, Jada. I'll fix this one in a second. Hold on. But if you like my videos, let me know. If you want to see anything else, hear anything else, I can give y'all some details. I got a lot of stuff here that may be pretty interesting. If you are interested, let me know. Appreciate it.